today I'm going to ask you a really simple question, okay? This topic is something that I've been battling with myself for more than 30 years in business, and as the years have passed by pretty quickly, I've hit many milestones, from growing businesses from scratch to making money, expanding my teams, and pretty much living a life of doing what I want in my own terms, okay? But, and it's a big but, there's still one burning question which I have never stopped asking myself even today. And it's also a question that keeps coming up when I mentor clients or promote businesses in general. And this question is something which I think every entrepreneur should ask themselves throughout their business journey, because it's one thing to have direction and drive, right? But if you don't have some sort of answer to this question, then you might miss the whole purpose of why you're in business. And I mean this sincerely, because once you get on the business treadmill where you're focused on growth, you're making money, you have expenses and commitments, expectations, you might just miss out on completely knowing what you really want or what truly makes you happy. And then it might be too late to change your direction, yeah? So the question that I want you to ask yourself today, I should say, is what are you chasing in business? Okay, simple question. And it's probably a question that you think you may already know the answer to, right? But I want you to ask yourself this question anyway, just to humor me, because I know from my experience that this question has been swirling in my head since I began in business, 30 years ago. And it's really only in the last couple of years that I think I know what I want or what I'm chasing. Well, at least I think I do. See, I'm still not sure, but I think I am, if you know what I mean. Anyway, let's unpack this together and see what unfolds. My name is Richard G-Cornell, and this channel, it's dedicated to helping people create their own destinies through business, okay? And I've been in business for 30 years, helping brands sell more of their products and services, and this has given me a deep understanding of how to start, scale, and promote businesses effectively. But most importantly, I will show you how to cope and succeed in your business journey whilst enjoying it along the way, because that's what it's all about, yeah? So let's get into it. Okay, so what do I mean when I say, what are you chasing in business? Does this mean, are you chasing money? Are you chasing freedom? Are you chasing fame? What exactly is it that you want from your business? Because no matter what you're chasing, there's no right or wrong answer here, okay? But more around is what you're chasing making you truly happy in your business. And happiness, it means different things to different people, yeah? Now, some of you might be happy if, you're making millions or even billions of dollars, or you might be happy if you have a business that doesn't rely on you completely all the time, so you can then go and spend more time with your family. Or you might be happy if you work on your own in your business and it makes you enough money to give you a life without the stress. Or it might even mean that you love working on your craft in your business, like a carpenter or a sculptor, doing something that you're truly passionate about. Or lastly, you might even love the whole aspect of simply running a business where you're working on your own terms, yeah? So when I ask you, what are you chasing in your business? Try to answer it honestly. Why? Because your entire business model, it depends on it completely, okay? Okay, so what I want to do, I want to look at 5 different business models to see where you think you fit into, okay? Now, we'll start with example number 1. I want to be a billionaire or a millionaire, If you fall into this category, then chances are you're going to have to give up a lot, right? In order to achieve your goals. And that's cool, but because you can ask any entrepreneur who's made millions or even billions of dollars, they will all give you many examples of what it cost them. And I'm not even referring to money here, right? They will tell you all about the things that they've given up and missed out on just to become wealthy. They will tell you that their weekends didn't exist, their families didn't see them, they missed out on experiences. They'll tell you how they either went broke or, they had to make a lot of money. They can give you thousands of examples of what they've sacrificed because their goal of becoming a millionaire or even a billionaire, it was what they were chasing. Now, when you look at wealthy people in general who've killed it in business, they might appear to have it all, yeah? But they will all pretty much tell you the same thing, and that they were prepared to risk it all and give up everything in the hope to become wealthy. So if this is what you're chasing, then great. But remember to ask yourself, if money is your sole motivating factor here, are you happy with that chasing your dream? Example number 2. I want a business that doesn't rely upon me all the time. Now, if you fall into this category, then these types of businesses don't just happen overnight, okay? For you to free yourself in your business, you're going to need a team of talented people. You're going to need, so they can do all the work for you, right? And that requires a lot of money and trust, and it takes a lot of time to implement. And other than money being your main motivating factor here, time is a commodity that everyone wishes that they had more of, right? So then they can go and do things that they wish to do. And if I'm being completely honest, this is a category that I've always chased in my business because I never wanted a business to completely rely upon me. That would have made it difficult for me to enjoy family experiences, especially when my kids were little. Like, I would have missed out on school presentations and sports, a whole range of things like that. But for me to achieve this goal, I had to make many sacrifices along the way, like I had to work at night when the kids were asleep, or risking and spending money so I could expand my teams. My sacrifice here was that I had to give up time and money in other areas to achieve this. So if this sounds like you, then is that what you're chasing? Example number 3. I want a business that I can work in on my own and it makes me enough money to live on without the stress, okay? Now, I know plenty of business owners, right, who work on their own as sole traders, and they do very well for themselves. They make heaps of money and they have a very fulfilling life. And the smart ones who invest their money well, they become financially free. But what are their sacrifices? Well, they work on their own. So essentially, they don't have anyone other than themselves to do the work. And this means no days off, and chances are, if they don't work, they don't get paid, right? So other sacrifices they make is that when they get tired, they can often burn out quicker, but for them, they're happy not to manage staff and they don't have to worry about money because their costs of doing business are a lot smaller. And if they are good at what they do, they ultimately don't have to worry too much about getting work because they've probably built up a name that people can rely upon, yeah? So you can see here how this type of business model, it can give you a very good life. And if this is what you are chasing, then good on you. Now, we're going to go to example number 4. I want a business that enables me to work on my passion. Now, I love watching YouTube, right? And this is why I started. And I love watching YouTube when you see, Japanese artisans or craftspeople who are good at making things like watches or handbags, basically anything that requires a lot of training and a lot of skill. Now, you see them opening their little stores at 7 in the morning and they don't leave until about 8 o'clock at night. And they don't rely on anyone. They're just so happy to be working on their own business where they create things that they're passionate about. I think that's awesome, right? And at the end of the day, we've all heard the term, it's not work if you enjoy it, right? And this is what I'm talking about here. So when you look at these guys, you can't do anything other than admire them. They've created a business that gives them an enjoyable existence because they're doing something they love. And I just think that's so beautiful. But will they make millions of dollars? Maybe, maybe not, but they will have a very fulfilling life and a business that they enjoy and makes them content. So I think you can see this is so inspiring here. And if that's what you're chasing, then that is a great business option as well. And lastly, example number 5, I want a business where I can work on my own terms, okay? Now, this is a category that for me was the main motivating factor when I started my own business 30 years ago. And it was, it was a very personal thing because I was heavily influenced by seeing how much my dad suffered in his line of work. I remember how he used to come home, stressed at night because he was always feeling like he could lose his job at any given moment, and he had absolutely no certainty. He was so highly specialized in his job that he could see that one day he would be replaced with technology. And when he was in his early 50s, same age as me, this happened to him. He was made redundant and his whole world and ours, it was completely turned upside down. And it was at that moment that I swore I would never let that happen to me. I would be in control of my own destiny, and that's when I decided that I would go into business. I was only 15, and from that day on, I only thought about business and absolutely nothing else. And this category was, and still is pretty much today, my main motivating factor. I never wanted to have my destiny in the hands of someone other than me. And I'm not sure about you, but I think that if you ask most entrepreneurs, they will tell you that this would probably be their main motivating factor for why they started a business, other than to just simply make money, right? They'll all pretty much tell you that this fear of not being in control of their own destinies is what motivates them the most, even more than money. So what category do you think you fall into, okay? Is it example number 1, I want to be a millionaire or a billionaire? Example number 2, I want a business that doesn't rely upon me all the time. Example number 3, I want a business that I can work in on my own and it makes me enough money to live on without the stress. Example number 4, I want a business that enables me to work on my passion, something I love. Or example number 5, I want a business where I can work on my own terms, okay? These are the 5 things. So if you're still not sure, ask yourself this: do you fall into more than one category? Do you think that one category is either better than the other? Or are you still a bit confused and not sure? Or do you currently fall into one category, but you really want to realign your business to be in another? Either way, it doesn't matter, okay? And as you can see here, there is no right or wrong answer, right? But the most important takeaway here is you need to stop, you need to assess, and you need to take action on what it is that you want from your business. So whatever it is that you're chasing, it's aligned with your business goals, right? So you can be content and ultimately you can be happy. And remember, pardon me, way back when you may have made your first business plan, did you ever include this way of thinking into your business model? I know I sort of did and I sort of didn't. And if you did, well, did it change along the way? Did your business go into the direction that you hoped it would? Because everything changes. Now, your chance to be content and have a good business that gives you security, happiness, and financial freedom, right? It can only be achieved if you know what you're chasing and you've implemented the steps into your business model to ultimately achieve your goals. And I also know from my own experience, my own self, my first idea of what I wanted for myself was security, right? And being in control of my own destiny. And what this meant to me was that no one could fire me or discard me when they were done with me. But at the same time, I knew that creating my own destiny also meant that I wanted to enjoy a life of financial freedom, but I also enjoyed going into business that enabled me to utilize my creative side, right? As my background was in the advertising space, and that's what I love doing the most. So you can see my dilemma here, what is it that I am chasing, and have I achieved that in my own business to the point where I am today? And if I was going to be brutally honest with you, I'll show you where I sit right now, just to use myself as an example and to also show you how I've refined my business model over the years to keep me motivated and content. Very important, hard to keep the motivation up all the time, especially over a longer period of time. Now, here are the benefits that I enjoy, right? A, my digital marketing agency operates without me, and this means my business doesn't need me every day to make money. My agency has enabled me to scale to make more money than I could make on my own, which has given me more opportunities to invest in other money-making initiatives, okay? And I can take time off basically when I need to, so I don't miss out on much-needed family experiences like I touched on before. And I've also created a brand name that is trusted and is worth something of value, and that's really important. Now, here are the negatives. Now, they're not really negatives, but here's the other side of the story. I'm not working on my passion anymore, which is the creative side, right? As now I have a team, they do everything for me. It costs me a hell of a lot of money to run a business of this size, and this creates a heap of stress, and you feel like sometimes you're always trying to feed the beast. It has to be fed. It's a machine, right? And I have to manage teams, invest in systems. I constantly think about growth, and it's on my mind 24/7. Now, it's all good, but it's easy to sometimes not feel content, because with any business like this, it feels like it consumes you more than you think it would expect to, right? But do I think that I need to change my business model? Well, the answer is no, right? As it's in line with what I want from my business, and I've chosen this path, and I know that the positives for me, it far outweighs the negatives. However, I still ask myself this question all the time. What am I chasing today? Because when I look from the top down, right, it's given me the opportunity to explore other ventures like creating these YouTube videos, like this. And it's enabled me to invest my money into other money-making ventures. And it's also provided me with opportunities to create new businesses that allow me to mentor other business owners. And these one-on-one mentoring sessions, it gives me a tremendous amount of pleasure. So you can see how asking yourself this question is something that you should never stop doing. And as a final thought, I think the best thing to do here is to rate each category from 1 to 5, right? 1 being your main motivating factor, to 5 being your least motivation, and then identify what changes you need to make to achieve your goals. And remember that the goal here is to be content and happy with your business path. And once you can do this, you will be content with your business and your life in general, okay? But more importantly, I need to stress here is that no matter which business path you take, either way, you're successful and you're creating your own destiny. So just know this when you sometimes feel down, or if you're comparing yourself or your business to others, right? It's your choice which way you go. So enjoy the ride or change your path. Either way, it's your choice, so you have to be cool with it. Now, this wraps up my video today. So let me know in the comments below, what is it that you're chasing in your business, as I would really get a kick out of reading them. And please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, as I'm writing a heap more content. Every day I'm coming up with new stuff. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.